Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of 1998 Represent. On this episode, we're taking a look at the debut album for Queens of the Stone Age, just a self titled album. I think overall a very solid entry in their discography. A good, kind of in a good just foot forward with presenting themselves as a band. We have a lot of really good songs on this album with a lot of great just instrumentalization. Some straight up tracks that are just instrumentals that are they're pretty chilled out overall. I think you can definitely say Queens of the Stone Age, kind of the running joke with them is, I wrote this in my notes here, is all their albums or songs are, if you boil them down, are about just doing drugs in the desert. So that kind of has like that kind of vibe to it. And I know like a lot of people will kind of qualify them or put them in like the category of like stoner rock or stuff like that. So it definitely kind of fits. We'll be talking about both versions of this album today. There is the 1998 original release, and then in 2011 they reissued the album with three new songs that were part of kind of some of the original recording sessions for this album, as well as I think a song that was recorded before the actual band was formed. So there was like I said, three new tracks on that. There's the 1998 edition and the 2011 edition. And if you look over there, I have the artwork up there. I believe this is the artwork from when I saw it is the artwork for the 1998 release. I had to do a little bit of censoring and editing on the image to make it somewhat appropriate for YouTube. So I kind of had to crop it out because there's a little bit of nudity on that. And then the other version of the album, the other cover, is also probably somewhat questionable as well. As like, so I didn't really want to risk YouTube doing anything with that, so I just edited this cover. I think I like this album cover a little bit more than the other one, just because this one has a very somewhat like sci-fi look to it. Almost feels kind of like a Barbarella kind of cover. If you're familiar with the Barbarella film, it kind of like I get that vibe from the album not color, the album cover. But the colors of the album are on the cover are also really cool. Like I said, it definitely exudes a sci-fi kind of theme, at least to me. It might not be to everybody, but to me, it feels like a sci-fi like album cover. I got some quick notes here we're going to go over, and then we're going to just discuss the album and all that kind of stuff. So, Queens of the Stone Age, first release September 22nd, 1998. Again, first studio album by Queens of the Stone Age. It was formed by Josh Homme and Alfredo Hernandez. They were formerly in a band. I'm probably going to mispronounce this, but I think it's Kuss, Kyuss. Like, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. But they were in that band, and that band had split up prior to this, or prior to Josh Homme forming Queens of the Stone Age. So there is, in the 2011 reissue, there is some stuff in there that was recorded maybe like shortly after that was included in that reissue. But they were formerly in that band together. Like I said, Josh Homme then reissued the album in 2011 with three new tracks. It's got some pretty good critical reviews. I'm just going to bring up a list of those really quick here. Just pull up here. These are the professional ratings on the album. So let me see. That is the reissue. We're going to go over the ratings for both the original and the reissue. So, for example, AllMusic gave it 4 out of 5. Entertainment Weekly gave it a B-. NME gave it an 8 out of 10. Q gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Rolling Stone gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and also the Rolling Stone Album Guide gave it 4 out of 5. And then Spin gave it a 7 out of 10. And then the reissue, the AV Club gave it a B-. Consequence of Sound gave it a B. Let's see. Drowned Sound gave it looks like an 8 out of 10. Said Mojo gives it 4 out of 5. Pitchfork was an 8 out of 10. Let's see. Pop Matters, I think it's like looks like a 7 out of 10. Rolling Stone gave it 4 out of 5 again, and then Uncut gave it 4 out of 5 as well. So between the original release and the reissue, some pretty good reviews overall, especially for a debut album. So like usually it takes a while for like a band to maybe like fully like realize what their sound is. Maybe it changes over time before they settle in with like a lineup that works or like a style that works. But it seems kind of like out of the gate, Queens of the Stone Age kind of had their sound and their style kind of already pretty well tuned in. I'll say in Songs for the Deaf, though, it changed a little bit because they added Dave Grohl in for that album because he was going through some issues with, I believe, the Foo Fighters at the time. And he basically had some kind of like issues going on there to where he kind of solved those issues by just banging on the drums on, I think that's Queen of the Stone Age's third album, probably. I'm not sure exactly where that falls. I think it's their third. But Songs for the Deaf is amazing. It sounds a little bit different because Dave Grohl is on the drums in that album. Let's go ahead and take a look at the track list here. We're going to do the track list for both the 1998 release as well as the reissue. So the 1998 release has 11 tracks, comes in at about 46 minutes or so. Track 1 is Regular John. Track 2 is Avon. Track 3 is If Only. Track 4 is Walking on the Sidewalk, or Walking on the Sidewalks. Track 5 is You Would Know. Track 6 is How to Handle a Rope. Track 7 is Mexicola. Track 8 is Hispanic Impressions. Track 9 is You Can't Quit Me Baby. Track 10 is Give the Mule What He Wants. And track 11 is I Was a Teenage Hand Model. And then in the 2011 reissue, we add 3 more tracks, and it brings up the album to be about an hour long. So it adds about 14 or so minutes of playtime. So track 1 is still Regular John. Track 2 is Avon again. Track 3 is If Only. Track 4 on the reissue is Walking on the Sidewalks. Track 5 is You Would Know. And into the first of the new tracks, track 6 is The Bronze, which is from the split CD, which I believe is what they're referring to as kind of some of the stuff from the original recording sessions that didn't make the album. So that is track 6 is The Bronze, and that was a new one. Track 7 is How to Handle a Rope. Track 8 is Mexicola. Track 9 is track 9 is Hispanic Impressions. Track 10 is You Can't Quit Me Baby. Then another new track is track 11 is These Aren't the Droids You're Looking For. That's also off the split CD as well. And then track 12 is Give the Mule What He Wants. Track 13 is the final out of the 3 new tracks, which is Spiders and Vigoroons. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And that is from Kuss, or basically, I think I'm pronouncing that hopefully correctly. That was kind of recorded and like written and recorded prior to the Queens of the Stone Age forming. I believe the other 2 new songs on there were from the original recording sessions for this album. And then track 14 is I Was a Teenage Hand Model. So like 2 different versions of the album. Both are very good. I would say if you're probably listening to the album on like Spotify or Apple Music or something, you're probably listening to the reissue. And I think if you're going to listen to one of the albums, that's probably the one to listen to just because it has those extra tracks. And those extra tracks are actually really good songs as well. Back into some quick notes from Josh Homme here. Let me see if I can find the quote here. Here we go. This is Josh Homme kind of reflecting on the recording and kind of the lead up to the album. This is from 2011 when the album got reissued, but he was reflecting, thinking about what was going on when he was forming the band. So it says, quote, I just remember thinking I hadn't played for about a year, and I started writing songs. The first song I wrote was Regular John, which is the first song on the album, and I remember thinking, quote, no one's playing this trance rock music that you can dance to, unquote, or end quote. And then he's also saying, but that's primarily because I hadn't heard of bands like Can. I thought I could try to do this thing that hadn't really been done, and then I found out it had kind of been done, but not very much. You just kind of try to carve your own space. I wanted to start a band that within 3 seconds of listening, people knew what band it was. And I definitely think, like, even like, if it's a Queens of the Stone Age song that I haven't heard or haven't heard in a while, it doesn't take long to figure out that it's a Queens of the Stone Age song based on like musical, like some of like the riffs or if it's a song where Josh Homme just immediately starts singing. He's got a great singing voice. I want to say, yeah, I saw him somewhat live last year at the Taylor Hawkins tribute concert, and he played with Them Crooked Vultures. He did a great song, a great cover of "Goodbye Yellow Brick Road" by Elton John. That was one of the songs that he performed there, and then I believe they then I think performed another Them Crooked Vulture song at that show as well. But he played a couple songs at that tribute, and he's got an incredible singing voice, and he's just like a great musician overall. So I really enjoy a lot of his music, even if it's stuff that isn't necessarily him by himself. Like well, them Crooked Vultures is like him, Dave Grohl, and I can't name escapes me right now, but them Crooked Vultures is great. He's done some great work with other people as well. Like I said, when they brought Dave Grohl in for their for Songs for the Deaf, it's just a great combination of musicians on that album also. But he's got a great singing voice, and the whole kind of running joke I mentioned earlier is the whole vibe of a lot of the thing is like all the songs and albums are about doing drugs in the desert. If you actually like think about it, but this album is definitely very chilled out. Like the instrumental tracks on this album are just really really great. They kind of just are very kind of trancy. He mentioned the whole thing about trance rock. Some people refer to it as stoner rock. Let me see if I can bring the genre listing up here. So yeah, the genres that are listed here are desert rock, stoner rock, and hard rock. So it's definitely very fitting. It definitely fits that vibe like perfectly. But that's gonna do it probably for this episode. Definitely check this album out. Check out the reissue because it has those 3 extra tracks on it. But again, that's gonna wrap it up for now. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'll be back again in a few days with another video. We'll probably be doing like another movie. Don't know exactly know it yet. I was looking on Netflix or something to watch from 1998, and there wasn't a whole lot of options, so I might have to jump on some other streaming platforms and see. But we'll be doing a movie next, or a movie or TV show or something like that. And then after that, we'll be back with another video game, and then we'll be repeating the cycle with another album, another movie, another video game, and so on. But again, that's going to do for now. So thanks again for watching. Take care and have a good one. See ya.